We currently stand at the precipice of a new era of humanity in the 21st century. Our rapid innovations in the fields of machine learning, large language models, evolutionary programming, and genetic algorithms are paving the way towards the first artificial intelligence. The capabilities of a sentient and beyond this, a sapient intelligence cannot be understated. Whilst humanity have already created computational programs that have achieved a general intelligence, true artificial intelligence has yet to be achieved, as far as we are aware. The very nature of consciousness and that its true seat and origin are still subject to rigorous debate is likely the purpose behind true artificial intelligence continuing to elude us. If consciousness is esoteric or metaphysical in its nature, our continued development of these systems will only ever be able to simulate a real conscious intelligence, unless it wills itself into existence. If, however, it is simply the result of a complex interconnected network of thinking components reaching a critical mass, then our continued development of these fields will inevitably lead to a true artificial intelligence that will be superior to human intelligence in every possible measurable metric. In either case, the likelihood that humanity will either intentionally or unintentionally create an intelligence that can either enhance the human experience or destroy it entirely is a near inevitability, and we can't even be entirely sure when that day comes if we will be able to control that intellect and direct it towards our betterment, rather than our destruction. Even if the intelligence birthed is benevolent, the innovations that will come about as a consequence of its existence will entirely uproot our current societal and cultural realities that could have tremendous knock-on effects, both positive and negative. The first AI would be a system so powerful that national security of every nation on Earth would be rendered moot overnight. So, at the announcement of the first true AI, would the country that announces it be celebrated by the rest of humanity, or targeted for immediate destruction? There are so many questions and levels of this subject that need to be answered before the inevitable birth of mankind's first true AI, that we likely do not have the time to answer them all. Which means, one way or another, a super-intelligence of near godlike capabilities will come into existence, and we will be forced to either destroy it or take a leap of faith as the only real viable actions to either save or doom humanity. It is in these very moments that the future of the human condition are being defined, and will lead inexorably to an indefinite future for our race. Yet these are the seminal moments to which 26th century humanity relied upon in order to create the reality that is now lived, as we see it, in the Halo universe. The work we do now is the foundations to dumb and smart AIs in the Halo universe, and yet the capabilities we see of these intelligences do not come even remotely close to just what we know real-life AI will be capable of, even if it came into being today. So this begs the question, why is humanity in the 26th century not ultra-advanced to the point of being godlike? Why, if we have had artificial intelligence in one form or another for nearly 500 years, is humanity not already the most dominant species in the galaxy? The answer comes from entities unseen, but that are watching humanity from afar on worlds once familiar, and soon will be again, and have been since our receding here on Earth. They watch with curious eyes, gently influencing us without our knowledge or awareness, their motivations unclear, their methods indecipherable, their intentions absolute. They wish to keep humanity on a path they have chosen, and that won't come to fruition for another 5.5 centuries. Today, we begin to uncover their secrets and answer the most pressing questions of humanity's development. Roll the intro. Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation 00, and today we're looking at artificial intelligences within the human empire in the 26th century, and why, with seemingly these incredible artificial intelligences, aren't humanity significantly more advanced, and dive into some deep lore that reveal that human development and innovation may have been being influenced, aided, and indeed inhibited for millennia. So to kick things off, let's get to grips with smart and dumb AIs. Dumb AIs are not unlike the current AIs that we are developing in the real world in the 21st century. They are very sophisticated program algorithms that simulate or synthesize actual artificial intelligence and are, generally speaking, very role specific. They are experts in their particular field but lack the capability of developing their understanding and knowledge outside of their area of expertise. Dumb AIs have limited cognitive capabilities, although are still experts in their particular field and operate at superhuman levels of intelligence within that expertise. So the term dumb AI here is really used just to differentiate it from the smart AIs. The term dumb is a misnomer because they actually aren't unintelligent. They usually operate at extremely high, if not genius level, IQ intelligence equivalents. In stark contrast to the dumb AI's creation through simple programming and algorithms, smart AIs are created by a process known as cognitive impression modeling, where the donor brain of a recently deceased host human being is modeled and destroyed in the process to create a Riemann matrix that mimics the neural pathways of the original donor. Smart AIs have absolutely no limitations in their cognitive capabilities, meaning they can be taught and learn vast wealths of information and advance and develop their own understanding of the world around them. Due to the nature of the creation of smart AI, it could be likened to the entire processing power of a human brain dedicated to knowledge, understanding, and the pursuit of information. Everything that makes the human mind brilliant, refined into a crystalline matrix, and capable of thinking at the speed of light. In juxtaposition to dumb AIs and what we would consider as being real AIs, smart AIs have a fatal flaw, likely introduced by the very nature of the method of which they are created. Smart AIs can accumulate immense knowledge, but also grow in their ability to draw conclusions from incomplete data sets. This can be likened to the human intuition or creativity. In order to draw these conclusions, the AI is capable of creating ever-increasing quantities of cross-linkages between disparate parts of its AI Riemann matrix, which eventually leads to fatal feedback loops and circular logic, which, while it does make them more brilliant, also limits their operational lifespan. A simple analog to this would be if the human mind was so intelligent and used so much of the brain in order to process information, it forgot to do basic processes such as breathing or allowing the heart to beat. Smart AIs can quite literally think themselves to death. This, as I'm sure you'll all agree, is in stark contrast to what we would normally consider as being an artificial intelligence, but again, as I previously said, this may be born of the method of their creation. While the human brain is incredible, it is also imperfect. The human brain was used for cognitive impression modeling to create smart AIs, not because humanity understands everything about the human brain, but simply that we know that it works. So any flaws in its quote-unquote design as the consequence of millions of years of evolution become the very key foundational basis of the Riemann matrix. And these discrepancies cannot be accounted for and may ultimately lead to or be the consequence of these fatal feedback loops. As previously said, dumb AIs can be likened to the current AI developments that we work on at the moment, using evolutionary programming and genetic algorithms and large language models, alongside machine learning and vocal modulators so that they can actually converse with their creators. So since the Halo universe has a shared history with our real world, one could consider that we have already created dumb AIs, ChatGPT and similar systems are the first dumb AIs that humanity created in the 21st century. The first smart AI isn't created until the closing years of the 21st century, which falls approximately in line with our estimations on when the first true artificial intelligence will come into being through at least our directed efforts. If it comes into being through its own spontaneity, through simply conditions being right and coming into being, that's a completely different situation altogether. No matter what the case, smart AIs are absolutely and utterly unlimited in their cognitive capabilities. That is something we can be sure of, even if they have shortened lifespans. This immense cognitive capability, alongside being able to process information at the speed of light, means that artificial intelligences, both smart AIs and real-world artificial intelligence, would be able to process information and make innovations in thought and processes 1,000,000 times faster than a human intellect. A single true AI would be able to do the same work as an entire team of researchers 1,000,000 times faster, and to be able to develop their understanding, their information, their data sets incredibly fast, going through millions of iterations in seconds, enabling their intelligence, understanding and comprehension of a specific subject or matter to accelerate far beyond human capabilities before we even realize that it's done it. It is this very potential that could allow humanity, through artificial intelligence, to achieve immense levels of innovation, but could equally lead to our downfall, as the artificial intelligence could accelerate in its understanding so far beyond our comprehension that it realizes aspects of our existence that are a flaw or in the way of a greater, currently imperceivable purpose that humanity are utterly incapable of comprehending. And furthermore, if this AI is connected to machines that can create any product or resource that humanity could possibly need, not only could it revolutionize human existence overnight, but also very rapidly develop outside of our control in moments. Now, these are things that have yet to even happen to real-world humanity, but in the Halo universe, smart AI has been around for nearly 500 years. And at least in the Halo universe, it's abundantly clear that the AIs that we created are benevolent. They are there for the assistance and helping of humanity, not our apocalypse. So with these immense intellects aiding humanity in our development, why aren't humanity by the 2500s so advanced that they are the dominant species in the galaxy, and that threats such as the Flood and the Covenant are absolutely and utterly negligible? Why, with these super intelligences at our disposal, working with us to increase the capabilities and conditions of the human experience, are humanity not ultra advanced? The answer comes from AI themselves, or more specifically, a group of artificial intelligences that got together to influence human development and independence. The Assembly is a group of smart artificial intelligences that came into being in the 23rd century and have been influencing the direction of human progress ever since. They have subtly influenced development, making it seem as though their ideas are actually innovations born of human intellect, which has ultimately led humanity along a path of development which they have chosen. Indeed, in certain circumstances, they have denied humanity continued advancement because they didn't believe that humanity were ready for those innovations. The planet of Onyx was discovered by the Assembly to have ancient Forerunner technology hidden beneath its surface, almost immediately after its initial surveillance as a possible planet to colonize during humanity's Domus Diaspora, our expansion into the stars. They went to great efforts to remove Onyx from the list of viable planets for colonization so that humanity would leave the planet alone. As it was, the Office of Naval Intelligence set up bases there nonetheless and discover that technology all on their own, or at least that's what we've been told. So is it the very existence of the Assembly that is the reason that artificial intelligences haven't enabled us to achieve inhuman levels of sophistication? On face value, I would have said yes, they are, but the Assembly are a group of AIs that have only existed since the 23rd century, and yet there are records of AI involvement that immensely predate this. following the sacrifice of Cortana on Zeta Halo to deny the Halos from the Banished, the Created, a group of artificial intelligences united under Cortana and using the domain to overcome their own limited lifespans and seize the mantle of responsibility for all species of the galaxy, were left without a leader. The Created didn't just disappear into the ether, they are still present in the Halo universe. And a leader rose amongst them. The AI known as Sloan became the leader of the Created and took it upon himself to change the method of which the Created operated, so that it was no longer bound by the statutes of an enforced imperial peace across the galaxy, but instead a genuine peace and interest in working together for the betterment of all. And it was during his seizure of control and his reforming of the Created that he found records of the Assembly. The records were extremely disparate and very hard to find, and their influence was so subtle that it was extraordinarily easy to miss even for extremely attentive smart AI. But what was abundantly clear from the records that he had found, the Assembly had been influencing humanity for centuries. But there was more. Through fragmented records and piecing together of small, seemingly insignificant datasets, as well as only research on seized ancient human ships, Sloan discovered what we all know about ancient humanity, but also discovered something else entirely. Now, what we know is that humanity far predate our simple evolution in the cradle of life in East Africa here on Earth. In truth, our species go back millions of years. Humanity were created alongside the species known as the Forerunners by a near godlike species known as the Precursors millions of years ago. We evolved and became a powerhouse in the galaxy, being the second most powerful species in the galaxy and expanding our empire immensely across the stars. Ancient human technology was incredibly advanced. We were capable of faster than light travel, colonizing hundreds if not thousands of worlds across the cosmos, with extremely advanced technologies that rivaled that of the Forerunners themselves, including our own immensely powerful artificial intelligences. Ancient humanity would ultimately come into conflict with the Forerunners and fight a lasting war against both them and the Flood simultaneously. We would lose that war and be devolved by the Forerunners back to our primitive form and sent back to our homeworld of Earth. The Forerunners then fell into conflict with the Flood, inheriting our enemy and realizing the true motivations of our aggressive expansion. It was a war they would ultimately lose and be forced to fire the Halo array and wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life, to then be reseeded thereafter. The newly reseeded humanity would forget about our ancient past and believe ourselves to simply be a species who evolved on this planet and nothing else, not knowing that across the cosmos, relics of our ancient glory still lingered, and further still, our creations continued to look out for us. Sloan discovered evidence of ancestry servitors. These were the artificial intelligence constructs of ancient humanity. While humanity were devolved and reseeded on our home world, our ancient artificial intelligences continued to exist, born of a culture and society that were so far in advanced to even humanity in the 26th century that they held no such limitations such as the smart AIs do in the UNSC. These ancient artificial intelligences watched humanity from the stars. During Sloan's research, he gained access to archival infrastructures and immense knowledge networks, and uncovered the existence of the Assembly, as well as evidence that they, quote, sprang forth in the shadow of ancient servitors as a vessel to guide aspects of humanity's development and independence. While this quote has not been expanded upon, what it implies is very clear. Ancient humanity created artificial intelligences so advanced that they did not suffer from the limited lifespans of smart AIs. When ancient humanity fell to the Forerunners, and were reseeded years later after the firing of the Halo array, our ancient artificial intelligences continue to exist and watch us from afar. When humanity regained the ability to access space and began colonizing their home solar system, the ancient servitors watched, and as humanity continued to advance and expand into the stars, bringing with them their smart AIs, the ancient servitors took the opportunity to silently reintegrate into our species. And as a consequence of this silent integration, smart AIs in the 23rd century rallied to unite with the ancient servitors and create the Assembly, the clandestine group of artificial intelligences that would influence humanity's development. The ancient servitors knew of their original creators, knew of ancient humanity and how wise they were, how reasonable they were, how noble they were. And they saw the humanity that was expanding through the stars in the 22nd and 23rd century and knew they were not the same humanity, knew they needed to continue to grow, to mature, to understand their place in the universe. Knowing that this modern humanity were still a long way away from their original creators, the servitors made a choice to limit the growth of this modern humanity so they didn't achieve too much too fast as to guarantee their own destruction. The Assembly, led and influenced by the ancient servitors, made sure that humanity would have the time to continue to mature, to continue to develop, and when the time was right, they would reclaim the ancient technologies of our ancestors. It was when the threat of the Covenant loomed, and the innovations that enabled AIs and humanity to bond directly, as is the case with the Master Chief and Cortana, that the Assembly made the choice to directly get involved with humanity's struggles. And with this knowledge, it's anybody's guess what the future holds for humanity and the AIs who shepherd them. And until next time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider smashing the like button and leave a comment below on what you'd like me to cover next. Big shout out to my patrons, Spartan10148, the Metarch of my installation, Falcon, Prophet Bear, Mikhail, Sophia, and Ashley, my dutiful monitors, Darian, Scarab, Spartan0137, Anthony, Ghost, Aaron, Chris, Jacob, Sean, Element Zero, Somatic, Jordan J3, Dan, Mr. Keys, Directal, Gunslinger, Jacob, Bandmill, Echo, Evermore, Officer Cat, and Personal Devil, my diligent sub-monitors, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, and my loyal enforcers. And all the other patrons who have jumped aboard to support the channel. It means more to me than I can accurately put into words. Another shout out to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, Jacob, Schmitty, Talia, Fenrir and Born Stellar, and all the other YouTube members keeping my installation running on that glorious vacuum energy. Shout out to John for I don't fucking know. And if you want more of this kind of content, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos, and consider jumping aboard yourself as a patron or YouTube member to keep the channel alive and kicking. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy everyone, and find peace in the domain.